Let's talk a little bit about practical aspects of setting up a group. You've both been running the groups, your individual groups, for several years, but for somebody who's interested in starting a group from scratch, so us as the MDS UK head office, we provide some support, some assistance, and what we require to start a group is, first of all, an enthusiastic patient or caregiver of a patient, a helpful clinician as well, and a location where meetings can take place. You've both been doing that. What can a little bit be the hurdles or the successes of setting up groups like that? Claudia,
Well, I think the Oxford group is the second longest running after the one at King's, if I'm not mistaken. And so we do have peaks and troughs, and we then experimented with an alternative venue and an alternative time of day. It didn't actually bring any results. So on the whole, we find that if we say this is our day for meeting is a Friday, as it happens, and it's always at this time, then people know that that's when the meeting is available for them. Perhaps they can be a bit flexible in if they're still at work or if they have other commitments. And so as a result of that, we stick to that. We have moved around venues in the hospital, and I have to say that a meeting room in the hospital and a porter cabin were nowhere near as nice as the current venue that we have. And we are really indebted to the advanced nurse practitioner for myeloid disorders, Kirsty, who makes the bookings and also books the speakers, because obviously she has access to people within the hospitals. And I generally maintain communication with the members, and often there are things that the clinical team there or Kirsty herself wish to make the membership aware of. So there are emails that go out, periodically to say this is happening, or could you try this? Could you give us your opinion of that? And so I'm a listening ear for people if they want a phone call or if they want an email exchange, and I do try and keep it on a personal basis, one-to-one with people who are on my email list. And I also get the occasional referral from the office, and most of those people are very happy to have a telephone call and have a bit of a chat before they come along, which helps to allay some of those misgivings and apprehensions that we talked about.
Yeah, we certainly refer people to the group once they've become members. And that's quite important, and we send out invitation to all the group meetings. Chris, what's your experience of how the group started and what you need to do to keep the group going?
Well, I think it's important to say there are different models of how people do coordinate groups depending on, their own time available and their own sort of skill sets. In the case of Essex, I do personally invite all the people who are registered within that area. Usually they will come to me with information from the main office that there is a new member. As soon as there is a new member, I will try to make contact either by email or phone. And just so that people are aware that if they get an email from me, it's not spam or junk or whatever. And so that they have sort of touch base. A lot of people also will ring me as soon as they become members, because they'll have got information about the group from the information pack. So that's a good opportunity to have a chat to someone. They're usually only sort of too willing to sort of talk about their situation, especially if they've just been diagnosed. Obviously, none of us can offer any medical information, but it's just, you know, being supportive really. And thereafter, once people are invited, I add them to my little list. I've got a little list. And if they wish to not be on the list, they're taken off the list, so I don't invite them if for any reason, you know, it's not their thing, it's not their cup of tea, or they've got serious difficulties in attending meetings. I don't want to keep sort of badgering them and saying, oh, come along, when they know that you know, it's difficult for them. So, you know, once people are on that invitation list, then I will ask them to every meeting if there's any information that comes up, say MDS Awareness Week or day or something, I'll send them information. If there's anything come up at a meeting, often at meetings they say, oh, I never know what questions to ask, so I might send out the question prompt list or something. So I am trying to keep you know, in touch with people in between meetings as well as just before the meeting. So yeah, I do micromanage that myself, but other people may not want to do that. It's just that you know, I want people to be aware and not feel so apprehensive that they've got someone who is sort of familiar to them, even if only through an email. So.
Absolutely. But there's, you say, there's different models, and for people who want to maybe start a group, they can know that they can do as little or as much as they can or as they wish. There's no absolute perfect model, and we can modulate.
And it's fair to say that if I had somebody like Kirst, you know, if I had a clinical nurse specialist who would do this, I'd be only too happy for them to do it. But unfortunately, I just don't have anybody who can help me do that. So if I didn't do it,
each region has its own way of keeping the group going, but bottom line is patients and caregivers need to come and benefit from the group, and the rest happens automatically, I think. Okay, thank you very much, Chris and Claudia. That's been great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.